Hey hockey fans, welcome to Goal Line Hockey. And today we're going to take a look at the Arizona Coyotes and the possibility of them making the playoffs. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up for more content in the future. Looking at the Coyotes right now, this team can make the playoffs. Man, how crazy would that be? But it's really not that crazy and far-fetched. If you look at their past 12 games, they are 10-2-0. So post-trade deadline, that is something that is pretty hard to do. And the Arizona Coyotes are finding success right now, and they're playing really well. 17th in the NHL. Like I said, 10-2-0 the last 12 games. So they are on pace to make the playoffs. Obviously, some things have to fall into place, but with the way they're playing, this could be their destiny. They're second in the wild card in the West, so they could easily drop out in a couple of days. I would say weeks, but really it takes a couple of days. It takes a weekend of back-to-backs, and they could be out of there. So it's important that they stick with this, keep playing the way they are. And with 77 points, this team they're playing fairly well. They're 3 points ahead of the Minnesota Wild, who have played the same amount of games, and they're 5 points ahead of Colorado. Colorado does have a game in hand. They've only played 70 games. The Coyotes have played 71. We'll see how much that really matters at the end of the season. And looking at Rick Tocchet has been a very great head coach for this Coyotes team, and the hope was he was going to help get this team to where they are, and he is meeting expectations, possibly ahead of schedule. But to be fair, this Coyotes team they were destined to finally make the playoffs. And look at some teams around the NHL that are struggling to make the playoffs, like the Hurricanes, the Sabres, that mediocrity. If the Coyotes can make the playoffs here, this would be a great way to get this team going. We've seen them make a trade, not too many at the deadline exactly, but they made a trade with the Blackhawks. They sent out Dylan Strome for Nick Schmaltz. It took me a second to remember him, but Nick Schmaltz. And yes, Dylan Strome's playing very well in Chicago, but I truly don't believe he would have had the same success with his current situation with the Arizona Coyotes. And the funny thing is, they're having this success without the guy that they traded for, Nick Schmaltz, who could still be a pretty important piece to this hockey team in the future, but he is injured. But that just shows the depth of this hockey team. We've seen guys like Brad Richardson. He just had a 4-goal game a couple of nights ago. The goaltending has been good enough to win hockey games, and this team's they're playing well. Look at their goals against. They've got 197 goals against. That's 9th best in the NHL. So, yeah, they're struggling a little bit scoring, but they're getting scoring and contributions from all throughout the lineup. They really have one main guy, and that is Clayton Keller. No real surprise. Alex Galchenyuk had a tough start to the season. He started to bounce back. This isn't the end of the world. Not having a ton of superstars. We've seen, obviously, Ekman-Larsson, one of the better defensemen on this hockey team. There's just a lot of guys. This team doesn't have a ton of superstar level talent, but they have a lot of pieces that are filling their roles, and they're doing what they have to do. Almost like the New York Islanders, who the coach over there, Barry Trotz, is also rumored for being a candidate for the Jack Adams, almost given the award already. But Rick Tocchet, I believe, if this team, especially if they make the playoffs this year, he will definitely give Barry Trotz a run for the Jack Adams trophy this year. And, you look at other guys throughout this lineup, Lawson Krause, Vinny Hinostroza. There's just a lot of, these guys they would be no-names somewhere else, possibly in the American Hockey League. But they're able to stay with the structure that Rick Tocchet has created for this team, the culture that's been there, and they're finding success, and I'm really happy for the Coyotes. I really like the Arizona Coyotes. I love seeing underdog stories. So if they came into the playoffs and they knocked off one of those top teams in the Central Division, probably in the first round, that would be a crazy scenario. It doesn't seem likely, but you never know. Once you get into the playoffs, and like I said, if they keep this pace for the rest of the season, the Coyotes are going to be coming into the playoffs as one of the hottest teams in the NHL. And if they played a team like Winnipeg, they may actually get a pretty good chance in that series. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for watching us here at Goal Line Hockey. Like I said earlier, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and you subscribe for more content coming up in the future. And if you want to keep up with all the hockey news around the NHL, make sure to stay tuned.